Are you in love or are you just attached? So what is the difference? What is love? What is attachment? So an attachment is something that a person will mistake for a source of happiness. It's really just a source of temporary, transitory pleasure. Attachment is an ego-driven illusion cultivated in the attempt to maintain a steady and consistent flow of pleasure over a long, like an extended period of time. Attachments are fueled by emotional investments stored in different areas of the body. Attachments can be made to a person, to a material thing, a subject or idea, a mental concept of yourself or others. It could be to a belief system, a religious value system, or spiritual ideology, or it could be an outcome of a situation. A lot of times when people first meet someone that they really like, there's all these good feelings. There's all of this pleasure that they might be getting from this person. They're so pretty, they're so funny, they're so cool. And so you get like high a little bit off of their presence or the idea even of them. Dopamine is involved in literally everything we do. So if we are getting a pleasurable payoff from whatever the subject of our attachment is, it can actually create addiction-like behaviors, obsessive-like behaviors, because to a certain extent, sometimes a lot and sometimes a little bit, but to a certain extent, we become chemically dependent on the pleasure or intense emotions that this thing or person or idea gives us. That is why obsession a lot of times comes from attachment. So when a person like gets really, really interested in another person, they can a lot of times become obsessed with that person because of all the pleasurable feelings that person gives them. They sort of become addicted to thinking about them or addicted to pursuing them. So attachment is not inherently a bad thing. I would say that in terms of like developmental psychology, attachment styles can reveal a lot about how a person was treated during childhood and potentially also how they were mistreated and or neglected during childhood. So it can reveal a lot about how a person will connect to others, form relationships throughout their entire life. Attachment theory has allowed us to understand a lot more about why we attract the certain types of people that we attract in romantic relationships or friendships even. It would make sense for a child to become attached, emotionally invested in its caregivers, because obviously if you associate your needs being met with your caregivers, with your mother or your father, you will store up emotions in your body for that specific person. So when you see that person, you immediately feel like, oh, warmth, or you have a certain association with a good feeling with them. I don't think it's abnormal for humans to naturally associate that good feeling with happiness. Evolutionarily, it makes sense for a person to want to protect their source of pleasure, protect their source of food, protect their source of shelter, protect their means of survival, because those good feelings were evolutionarily used to remind us that this is important. This is what you need. This is good. The confusion kind of comes in where in the spiritual community, we all know Buddha said that the cause of all human suffering was desire and attachment. And in developmental theory, it seems very normal for us to talk about attachment styles and secure, anxious, avoidant, those types of things. So what's the truth? Like, is this the same kind of attachment? I believe that it is. I believe that it's the same kind of attachment. I think we need to understand what love is and why it has nothing to do with attachment. So, love. How do we define love? In my opinion, one of the best definitions I found was in Bell Hooks' All About Love. She debunks the idea that it's just some mysterious and magical thing that we fall into and we have no control over. And this may be true for attachment, or maybe even limerence, but these things are definitely not synonymous with love. Bell Hooks defines, quotes from Eric Fromm, a definition of love, which is the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another's spiritual growth. Love is as love does. Love is an act of will, namely both an intention and an action. Will also implies choice. We do not have to love, we choose to love. So to love is a choice. Love is a state of being, an attitude, an outlook on life. It's actually on the Hawkins scale of vibration. It's actually like a state of being. It's a vibrational frequency that you can be in or not be in. I wouldn't say it's the opposite of fear, because sometimes even in a fearful state, you can still experience love. But love has nothing to do with fear. But fear is an illusion that we've inherited from negative human conditioning. Love is our true nature. Sun does not shine more brightly on a righteous man than it does on an evil man. The way that we all can breathe the same air, the way that nature continues to sustain us despite how horribly we are treating it, that's love. That's that just unconditional existence of just this overflowing source of it never runs out. That's what love really is. I'll go on to add that in Letting Go by David Hawkins, he says that true love is free of fear and characterized by non-attachment. I think the majority of people in our society misconstrue attachments for love. They don't understand those pleasurable, excited feelings that they get when they first meet somebody new, or when they develop feelings for someone. They don't understand that like a big chunk of that is just the whole attachment experience. How do you tell the difference between love and attachment? If you are in a relationship, if you are pursuing somebody, or you started having feelings for somebody, wherever you are, or maybe you're single and you just want to know. So ask yourself this one simple question, okay? If their happiness were best served by leaving me, how would I feel about it? How would you react if your loved one's happiness were best served by leaving you? Never speaking to you again. For me personally, it was like a door in my mind that I just was not even looking at, because I was so obsessed. I was obsessed because I was attached. And that was my addiction. I need you to get high. So I can't have you running off. When you ask yourself that question, your reaction will tell you the answer, whether or not it's love or just attachment. If it's love, you'll be able to, sit with that question for a while, and you'll say, you know what, I don't like it, but I'll let it happen. I'll let them go. I don't like it, but if it's their happiness on the line, yeah, like, I'm just one person. The world is big, and I'm not gonna hold them so tightly that I will allow them to be stunted in their growth process. You both deserve happiness, and sometimes you can be so tightly attached to something that you don't even realize that you are hurting yourself and restricting yourself from all of the possibilities in the world that exist. A lot of people take that scarcity mindset into relationships, and they think that I gotta hold on to this is the best one I've got, and if I lose this, I'm not gonna find another one. There's like 7 billion people on the fucking planet. Like, there's other people, okay? Like, I'm not saying you have to like leave your husband of 30 years. I'm not saying you have to leave whatever or do whatever, but I'm just saying, like, if you're in a committed relationship, I strongly encourage you to go there. Okay, so when I say like allow yourself to go there, I basically mean allow yourself to think about the possibility of you not being with this person. Allow yourself to go there in your mind, mentally. What is the world like when this person doesn't have a hold on you? What is the world like? What would you do if you were free? How would you live? What would you do? How would you feel? What would you say? And I'm not saying this drastically, like the whole thing is a lie, but I'm saying in some situations you might find yourself compromising on your real identity because you're split in two. Okay, you love this person, but you also need them. And it might even be an equal 50-50. You need them, but you love them. But what if loving them required you to let them go? You'd have to somehow deal with this, right? You'd have to somehow deal with that chemical dependency that you have. And also another big sign of attachment is jealousy and possessiveness. That is the biggest sign of attachment. If your partner is fully surrendered and they actually like care about your happiness and well-being, they will not give a fuck who you're with. They will not give a fuck who you're talking to other people, hanging out with other people, spending time with other dudes or other girls or other people. Like, they will not care who you're with, what you're doing. They won't be trying to check in on you and to make sure that you're where you should be, so they don't have to worry. They don't have to worry about you running off on them, because that's the thing. That's when that's scary to me, because that is what addicts do. Okay? That is what people who are addicted do. It's almost like they start getting frantic and worried about the subject of their addiction, because it's like, I need you to get high. So if you're off doing this and that's not gonna fly. So you really have to ask yourself, like, is this a loving relationship, or is this just an arrangement? You get me high and I get you high kind of thing. Attachment never yields true love. You have to become fully detached if you want to experience real love. So basically, when you're fully detached from a person, you can love them, you can appreciate them for what they are and stop trying to change them. Even if they need to leave you and go somewhere else and do some other things with some other people, you will be okay with that because you're not missing a high. And make sure that if you really have feelings for this person, you really want what's best for this person, that you are doing that. You are falling in line with that. Relationships are actually so much more satisfying and gratifying when you are fully detached. So don't feel like, oh, well, if I don't care about them as much as I do when I'm attached to them, then I don't really like them. No, you still love them. You're actually able to love them more. Your love is so much more powerful and better when you're detached because your own feelings aren't getting in the way. Please remember to forgive yourself, understand yourself. This doesn't have to be a horrible, bad thing, okay? Most people are doing this, so don't feel bad if this is you. I just want people to understand what's really going on so they can stop, like, arguing and fighting in relationships, because it's really just not that deep. Like, tomorrow's not promised, and you want to be able to love the people that you love to the fullest. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this information was helpful to you. Please like this video, share this video, and subscribe to the channel if you like the content and you want to see more stuff like this. Thank you so much for watching. Peace and love. I'll see you in the next one.